This video has spirituality reframe vibes, and I'm going to share something I saw on Reddit. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to explain, and not really explain, reframe it, because it has some things in here about out of body, it has things about people saying past lives, and it also has things about these people being confused about it, and I will talk about it. It brings up a lot of good stuff. Also, it talks about predictions and date things, which I always talk about, and I'm going to cover more about it. So it says the speaker recounts a profound out of body experience from about 3 years ago, during which a significant date was revealed, May 25th, 2025. Guided by a divine presence, the speaker was shown a past life in ancient Egypt or a similar era, but not geographically Egypt, at the moment of their death. During the mummification rituals, a maternal figure placed a golden egg containing a parchment with the numbers 05252025 into the speaker's chest. In that past life, the speaker had psychic abilities and understood the importance of the numbers through not their meaning as a date. In the present experience, the divine guide explained that May 25th, 2025 marks a crucial event for humanity, a shaking of structures necessary for a spiritual rebirth. While the exact nature of this event is unclear, it could involve natural phenomena, geopolitics, or religion. The speaker notes that such revelations sometimes manifest a few days before or after the exact date. So the first one I'm going to talk about is out of body. So the reason why we even think of out of body and made it into a thing is because there are two things going on. There are people who have written books about processes of astral travel and they don't understand it. I have more about why people don't understand it and people are confused by it in my Patreon. But yeah, that's one thing. But I want to talk about this specifically. So when people use this as their terminology for something like this, it means that they had a big experience. So for example, so when people talk about going under and hypnosis, and when they go into hypnosis and they meet a past life, which we're going to talk about in a second, there's different ways you can do it. There's obviously way more than just this, but I'm going to give a few examples. You could become them. You could be observing like a movie. You could be hearing just a voice. You could be feeling and seeing random pictures and things like that. You could be just randomly talking and not being able to understand why you're saying these things. You could be writing. You could be just sitting in your chair wondering if you want to do something and you're not even in a session like this, and all of a sudden you have this idea and you're like, oh my god, this is so cool, I need to look up blah blah blah. All those things could be you getting in contact with a parallel life. And there are parallel. There is no past. And the past is okay to talk about if you're talking about something in a linear way, in a finite way. But when you're exploring things, which is spirituality, energy, abstract thinking, things like that, you have to let those things go. You have to. If you don't, it's not the same. You're going to be limited, you're going to be confused like these people are, and it's just going to become a mess. So you have to realize that it's parallel. There's more to it, but just start with parallel and work your way into that, making it feel comfortable. Now, the thing that gets in people's way is the unalive part. Unalive does not belong to us. It's not a linear thing, so it doesn't belong to us. It is a possibility and a way that energies exit that anchor point. So if you need to see it in that way for you, because that's how you understand it, you're going to see one of those exit points of your fellow energy that exited that way. Because in a sense, you could, if you wanted to, like when you get redistributed or even when you go to sleep or when you go to meditation, you could be them. You don't have to just go in a linear way. It doesn't work that way, right? And then people are like, oh, well, yeah, you wouldn't go linear, but it doesn't even go linear in your way either. Like you don't have a past one like the one before. You don't. You might think it might feel like that and it might work for that situation when you're thinking, but you need to, like I said, you need to think in that way so it can help you keep going, because otherwise this stops you. And then you depend on other people that you think know all these things and they're stuck too. So you need to set yourself free with that. Okay, so that's one. And that is the I went into the past part. So the out of body part is, like I said, all those different POVs. This is a type of POV. So when someone's saying this, it's a language thing. They're saying this person had an experience where they were the other, they were them, or they were watching it as a movie. So that's two of those, right? And so sometimes people experience getting out of the body, all those things, but those are all for us to feel comfortable and for it to be logical and for our energy and consciousness to stay wherever we're going. When you start to get really into this, you don't even need to have that experience, because sometimes you can actually just, it can get interrupted. So it becomes, when you get serious about this, like you get really into, projection, because we're protecting all the time, so it's silly. When you're actually getting serious about this and you want to use it as a tool to observe things or do things, a lot of the time you won't even want to do that. You'll want to really quickly see something. Like me, when I'm on the live or I'm working with clients or I'm living my life, for me it's a bit intense for me to just leave. Like, I wouldn't do that. I need to still be there. So you start to get new skills. So that can be fun for, like, let's say you have a day off of work and you want to just like explore one of the Fey realms or something like that, and you want to go into a version of you. That is the way that you're going to stay there longer and like get to have a better experience or more exciting experience. If you go, you know that you're going to another version of you in that place. So this is something I help clients with when they get to this place, because at first you think you have to do this and you have to do that. No, you don't have to do that. That's a waste of time. Those are people who don't understand what it is. You can do that, but why would you mess yourself around when, is that really your goal? Don't you want to just go see those things? Okay, so anyway, that's the out of body thing. The other thing is, when you get these experiences, you are a match just as much as the match of the other version of you that you're matching with, especially if you don't know what's going on. If that happens and you have that experience like in a session or whatever, you basically are connecting with them. And it means that you have something to offer them just as much as they have something to offer you. Now, this is personal. This happens with the 7 things too. There's a lot of stuff that's personal to Cassie, but it's like getting out of hand and stuff because there's some personal things and people are taking it as like, that it's for them and blah blah blah. So that's why people should have these experiences for themselves. They don't have to do it with like that Ouija board thing with 7. They can literally just talk to other energies that are interesting to them. They don't have to get it through them or do those experiences. They could start that way if they're inspired, but whatever. Anyway, okay, so now, by the way, this is posted in the 7 thing, that's why I'm saying this. Okay, so now there's some people saying, they're like getting really into it in the comments after it and saying, okay, so this is a this in the Gregorian calendar, it's this, and they're like matching the calendar to Egypt, and they're getting finite and in the, finite realm of talking about something infinite and an experience that was also personal. And basically when you do this, you get this, and they have all kinds of stuff, missing leap years, calendar reforms, skip days, and different systems of counting time. They're getting really into it. When in reality, seeing that, specifically something that has a date of you, means that whatever is there, there's something for that person getting that information. And then if someone's like, okay, well, is this about other people? Is this blah, blah, blah? That is because we're pushing it. And I talked about some videos before this about that, where if you push things into what the energies are saying and it's personal and you're bringing it to something else, it kind of gets a bit muddled, right? Because the whole intention of you connecting was because you're a match. And then if you get confused and you don't understand the information that you're receiving, because remember I talked about things broadcasting, when you grab that energy, you yourself are confused, so the energy and the message gets confused. So when this kind of stuff happens, go back to, like, if you're reading about someone else or you're having this experience, go back to the initial connection and restart again. Once it gets confusing, go back to the other thing. So the fact that they even got that message, start focusing on yourself, and then you can see what else is going to happen for everyone else. Because this could even be one of those things where if you change and if there's something for you that's going to happen, it's like you could be able to do this. And by the way, it's not about what's going to happen. It's about like what's going to be on offer. What, like, can you like grab at that time or something like that. I'm happy to go more into this, but I thought it would be interesting for you guys. So let me know if you have any more questions.